Hello everybody, welcome to the first VickyCharles.com podcast of 2016. My name is Vicky Charles and today's podcast number 42 is how to grow your Instagram. I've got 15 top tips for you for growing your Instagram account. So let's get on with it. Hello, welcome to podcast number 42 of the VickyCharles.com podcast. This week's episode is 15 tips for growing your Instagram account. Now this came about the other day, kind of over the Christmas break really. I run a WhatsApp group for bloggers, which by the way you're welcome to join. I will put details at the bottom of the show notes for this episode. I run a WhatsApp group for bloggers and a lot of people were talking over the holidays about their Instagram. They felt like it wasn't growing, they felt like they'd been really trying with it and it hadn't got anywhere. And at the time I was trying to plan my podcast for the next few months and come up with ideas because I tried to get them done in advance rather than panicking the day before it's due to go out. And I said, maybe I should do a podcast on that. And people seem to like that idea, so that's what we're doing. So this is for my WhatsApp group members and for anybody else who really needs a bit of help with their Instagram. So my first top tip for growing your Instagram is to update regularly. If you follow somebody and they go back and look at your account to see, who is this person that's just followed me? Am I interested? If they look and see that you actually haven't updated your Instagram for 3 or 4 days, they're going to go, well, there's no point in me following you because I'm never going to see anything that you post. If you're not updating regularly, people aren't going to be interested. Or they might even, if they follow you and then they don't notice you on their news feed regularly, they might unfollow you. They might think, why am I following that person that I never see their updates, and just delete you. So it's just best to always to have, current content on there. If you're trying to grow your Instagram, the best way to do that is by posting. Tip number 2 is to experiment with the number of posts that you do. I would say at least once a day, bare minimum, at least once a day. But, the advice on it generally kind of goes up and down. It depends who you speak to. Some people say 3 posts a day, some say 10 a day. I went through a stage where I was doing 15 a day, which is not to do with growing my Instagram so much as just having taken an awful lot of pictures. Just lately, over the last few months, I've dropped that right back to only doing 4 or 5 a day. That's been more because I've been busy and kind of preoccupied with other things. And I've been a bit more strict with myself about what kind of makes the cut for what goes on, which I'll talk to you about later. So I've cut back to 4 or 5 a day, and I've actually found that those 4 or 5 get more interaction, more likes and more comments, which might be down to the type of thing I'm posting, but also I think probably the number helps. They do say that the more popular accounts post more regularly and more often. What I would do is, experiment with it. Experiment with posting loads in a day, see what happens, give it a week or so, then cut right back. Just figure out, everybody's different, I think, and everybody's audience is different. So bear that in mind when people tell you that you must post X number per day. My third tip is to second guess what you're posting. Now, I just spoke about this in the previous one. I changed kind of what I was posting. It's not so much about kind of trying to curate and cultivate a particularly stylized feed, but just I went to talk to someone and somebody said, like, if the picture wouldn't make it onto your blog, don't put it onto your Instagram. And that did kind of stick with me, and I thought, gosh, yeah, sometimes I do post quite kind of grainy pictures, and sometimes I take a picture of my daughter doing something that is really funny and it looks really cute, but when the picture comes out I've not quite caught it, or she's put her hand up over her face, or it's quite grainy, the flash hasn't gone, whatever. And in the past I would post it and go, well, you can't really see, but this is what she was doing. Now I just don't post it. I just think, oh well, that was a missed moment, at least I saw it, kind of thing. What I tend to do is, it might make you smile, but would a stranger like it? If you saw that on somebody else's post, if somebody else posted that and you saw it on your timeline, would you understand why it was there? Would you care? Would you like it? Would you comment on it? Is it grainy? Is it blurred? Does it make sense? Does it fit in with what your usual posts are? If you're always posting, perhaps you always post pictures of your dog every day, and then all of a sudden you post a picture of a cat, everyone's going to go, I didn't know she had a cat, that's a bit strange. They're probably not going to unfollow you for it unless they're, avid dog lovers, but, you get what I mean. My fourth tip is a really simple one. Have your face in your profile picture. This goes back to, I would say this for every single social media really. People follow people. They don't follow logos. They want to know who you are. They want to interact with you and connect with you. And it's also quite handy if I check the box to have to update my profile picture from Facebook, but you can use the same one as you use on your Twitter or wherever, just so that it's kind of consistent and people can tell that it's definitely the same person that they're following on Twitter that's just followed them on Instagram, so they know it's the same person, it's not some stranger with a similar name. My 5th tip, again a really simple one, post videos. People just love to watch videos. Videos are really massive on Facebook at the moment, so I always cross-post my Instagram videos to Facebook. But just generally posting videos on Instagram, they're only 15 seconds, so you don't need to have a really steady hand and get a really great shot, because you can cut out the excess around the sides and just get a really good image. And you don't really need to filter them either. Sometimes you filter them and you can't really tweak the filters on video, and it makes it a bit limiting. But I do think still that it's a great thing to be able to do, and videos definitely for me get more engagement and more comment. Okay, tip number 6 is to make sure that your followers on other platforms know that you've got an Instagram. So I cross-post my Instagram posts. I use a site called If This Then That, which automatically posts a native picture from Instagram to Twitter, rather than having, usually you get like a link, so you get a little bit of the caption and then a link to Instagram. If you use If This Then That, you can set it up really quickly, it's really easy, and it posts a native picture to Twitter. Definitely worth doing. People can see that you've got Instagram, that you're posting regularly. They might come across and follow you. As well as doing that, cross-posting to Facebook and such like, I would just every now and then, not daily, but just every now and then, schedule a tweet here and there. Did you know I'm on Instagram? Come and follow me. I'll follow you back. Or something on Facebook, on Google Plus, wherever. Try and pull people across, because most people that are on Twitter are going to have an Instagram account. Most people that are on Facebook are going to have an Instagram account, and they might just have not. It just might have not occurred to them to come and follow you. So always make sure that you do that. My 7th tip is to provide value to your followers. So it's kind of a hard one to explain, but give people a reason to follow you. So what do you want them to feel when they look at your posts? Do you want to be lifting their mood every day, enlightening them, inspiring them, educating them? What's your purpose for Instagramming? And that doesn't mean that you should only post motivational quotes, or you should only post pictures of dogs or whatever. But kind of just bear it in mind when you're kind of choosing a post. So as I said, in the previous point about not posting grainy pictures that you can't really see what they are, also bear in mind, if I try to be quite positive, so I wouldn't then post a picture of something and make it a negative picture, like a picture of my child crying, or I wouldn't do that anyway, but something like that, or something that's negative, because I try to be quite positive and upbeat and uplifting. Some people, I follow a lot of people who are very motivational, very inspirational. They post a lot of quotes. Sometimes I post quotes on mine, but I try not to do that very much, because I don't want people to be following me just for quotes. I'd rather engage people with pictures of my child, basically, which is what I post mostly. But it's just a thing to bear in mind, is you don't want people to go, oh yeah, I think I follow him. I don't know, maybe. You want people to go, oh, I love his feed because he always posts these really gorgeous pictures, or he always posts, you want people to remember you, and to do that you need to provide value with what they're seeing. Tip number 8 is something that I picked up from Crystal Payne a while back, and as soon as she said it I thought, it totally makes sense. Tip number 8 is avoid collages, because the pictures are too small to see. If you think about, some people have got quite big, they'll use a tablet for their Instagram, or have got quite a large mobile phone that's bordering on tablet size. My mobile is actually quite small, and I think probably a lot of people's are, although most people use their smartphones, not everybody's smartphone is massive, and if you use a collage that has like 4, 5, 6 pictures, people can't really see, and they're not going to make the effort to kind of hold the thing still and squint at it to check, what they think it might be. They'll just scroll past it, and you'll miss people for that. So it is worth bearing in mind that if you're going to do it, what I would do is use the collage function to create a picture, but then post it straight to Facebook, where the screen is bigger, and there's an option for people to see it in a kind of pop it out and see it more closely. Just on Instagram as itself, I don't think works very well with the collages, because it is just too small to be able to see. Tip number 9 for growing your Instagram is to use the search function. So find targeted followers. I spoke about this before because Shalene Johnson advocates doing this, and she says you should do it quite specifically. So you find them, you like their last 5 pictures, and you comment on the last 3. it might be that you kind of look at the pictures and you think, like, I can't think of a comment, and there's nothing worse than getting a notification that somebody's commented on your picture, and you go and look and they've just written nice, cute, and you think, oh, my phone dinged and interrupted me for that, really? So kind of don't be ridiculous, and you don't need to be quite so methodical about, choosing people, but find people that use the same hashtags as you or are doing the same things as you. Instagram actually will, when you first press the search button, it brings you up suggested accounts based on the things that you've liked and commented on in the past. So that's a great place to start. Have a look at the pictures, but don't just expect that people are going to follow you back. I spoke to a few people about this, and a lot of them don't follow back automatically. They'll come and look at your thing and see if they've got anything in common with you before they bother. So you have to kind of interact and make it worth their while to come and look. Who's this person that's commenting on my pictures? Oh, they've got interesting things to say, and they've recommended a book I hadn't heard of. I'll go and check them out, that kind of thing. Tip number 10 follows on from this, and that is to investigate hashtags. So in point 9 I told you to use the search function. Other people use that function too, so make it easy for them to find you. Use hashtags that you want to be known for. So don't come up with kind of... some people use hashtags to collate pictures of the same thing. So my sister-in-law does it, and she has a hashtag for her son's name and a hashtag for her daughter's name, so she can collate all the pictures of them together if she wants to. But that's great just if you're just doing that for yourself, but other people aren't going to be searching for your son's name, so you kind of have to do. But also, if you do like hashtag selfie, just as an experiment now, go into your phone and search hashtag selfie. I haven't even had any gin today. And see how many, just take a note of the top 6 pictures that come up when you do that, and then refresh your screen. And I guarantee you it'll be an entirely different 6 pictures, because so many people use that hashtag. Like millions of people use it every day. It moves so quickly. It's very unlikely that if you post a picture using hashtag selfie, anybody else is going to see it, because it doesn't have a long life. Whereas if you use a hashtag for an event that you're at, as long as it's not, like a massive event, a smaller event that you're at, other people at that event will be looking at that hashtag. Other people that wanted to go to that event and couldn't will be looking at that hashtag. If you use a hashtag for a place that you've been, or a celebrity that you have mentioned, other people will be following that. Think about what's going to give you a longer life in your in the search function, basically, so that you're not just kind of scrolling down so quickly that nobody's ever going to see it. You want to be kind of hanging around there for a while, so you want maybe one that's not updated quite as often as hashtag selfie, for example. Tip number 11 is a really simple one, and it feels a bit icky, but it can work really well. Ask your followers to tag a friend. So if you've got a quote that is motivational, tag a friend who could use this. Or if you maybe post a picture of your morning coffee, tag a friend who needs their coffee, who loves their coffee in the morning. Tag a friend this, tag a friend that, tag a friend who loves to do their exercises in the morning, tag a friend who you think would enjoy my pictures. Anything to, and people will kind of get involved in that, and they will tag their friends if they think you're providing value and you're interesting, or your pictures lighten their day. They'll want to tag somebody else. So you could put a picture of yourself frowning and say, oh, I'm feeling a bit miserable, not actually crying, but like a comedy frown when you look a bit funny, feeling a bit miserable today. Tag somebody else who feels like this and can do with cheering up. And then you could post in your next picture, you could post something that will cheer them up, some nice flowers, giggling cat, whatever, something to cheer them up. Like I said, it does feel a bit icky, and don't do it very often. I wouldn't say do it every day, but it can help to kind of get people to follow you that are it's basically getting people to do the searching for you, to say to your followers, who else do you think would like to see my pictures, and then kind of follow a few of them back as well. Be nice about it, don't kind of make it very one-sided. Tip number 12 is to consider and experiment with your filters. And when I say consider and experiment with, it depends who you speak to. Some people say stick to the same 2 or 3 filters. Other people will say always use different ones so that you've got variety on your feed. I would say first off, look at your profile and look at the pictures that come up when you first come up, and see how those pictures all look together and how they fit.